When you think of composers, you probably think of them as composing symphonies all day long. But the truth is, a lot of them had some really surprising jobs. So let's take a look at some of the surprising ways these composers made a living. Giuseppe Verdi, the composer behind operas like La Traviata and Aida, was actually appointed a senator of the Kingdom of Italy in 1874. Sounds prestigious, right? But here's the twist. It turns out Verdi was far more interested in composing than he was in politics. Still, the appointment made him a national symbol of the unity of Italy. Charles Ives might be the only composer who was known for selling life insurance. In fact, he was so successful at it that he was more known as a businessman to most people at first and ended up establishing his own life insurance company in New York City. By night, he wrote his wildly creative and inventive music, and by day, he worked in life insurance to pay the bills. Russian composer Alexander Borodin wasn't just famous for his music, he was also a well-respected chemist and doctor. He co-discovered an important chemical reaction. He wrote many papers, many of them published, and he even helped to establish a medical school for women in Russia. And somehow, between experiments and lectures, he found time to write great works for orchestra, string quartet, the opera Prince Igor. Talk about multitasking. Antonín Dvořák, the famous Czech composer who wrote works like the New World Symphony, was actually the son of a butcher and an innkeeper. He was expected to grow up and learn the trade as well, but luckily for us, his talent for music took over, and he ended up trading butcher's knives for composing pens. American composer Phillip Glass did a lot of odd jobs. He has been a taxi driver, a plumber, and a mover. He says that he once even installed a dishwasher for a music critic who had no idea who he was. There were times when Glass expected to have a day job forever, but he didn't complain. He liked the independence that it gave him to write the type of music he wanted to write. French composer Claude Debussy had a job that was more familiar to us musicians. Before he was a famous composer, he made money by being a piano tutor and an accompanist. He worked for wealthy families, such as the household of Nadezhda von Meck, who also supported Tchaikovsky. Sometimes his income came more in the form of room and board than actual cash, but that time allowed him to compose the great music that we know and love today. And finally, Russian composer Rimsky-Korsakov started off his career as a naval officer. He sailed the world on his clipper ship for 3 years, secretly composing when off duty. Later, he left the Navy to become a full-time composer and teacher, but he kept the title of Inspector of Naval Bands. From sea voyages to symphonies, quite the career shift. So next time you're listening to the music you love, remember that composer might have been a butcher, a plumber, or an insurance salesman. Many composers have always had to find ways to make ends meet, but luckily their music has far outlasted their day jobs. Which of these stories surprised you the most? And do you have other ones to share? Drop a comment below and share it with us. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.